Welcome back to Sambo's Stop Mo's. I'm Sam, and today
we're milling lumber.
Now, in the last video, what we did was we went to my grandparents' real bank barn and we took measurements. I recorded some of them here, and then what we did was we scaled them down. I started to sketch out this. You can see the different beams we have going across, and we just got started. I'm gonna do the rest of the process as we go. So, to build this barn, we're gonna need some wood, right? Well, we have two options to do that. One, we can go out and buy balsa wood. This is a product that you buy. You can get it at your local hardware store, craft store, online, different things. You can get beams and posts like this, and it is very nice to maneuver. It's flexible. You can also get different sized boards like this that are flat and different things. This stuff is great because it is easy to cut with an X-Acto knife. It's so soft you can just go right through it, and you can get different sizes, different dimensions, and all that kind of stuff. So the other option is we can make our own. There are some advantages and disadvantages to this. Here are some pieces that I did mill or make myself. This was done just with a very cheap bandsaw, and it actually did quite well. So to do this, we're going to need an old piece of wood. So we're probably going to make the barn out of pieces of wood that look pretty much like this. Maybe not this exact piece, but it's going to be very similar. The disadvantage to milling your own wood is the wood is a little bit harder. Balsa wood is very soft. This wood you can't really cut through with an X-Acto knife after you mill it, which is kind of a disadvantage, and it's kind of something we're gonna have to deal with. The advantage though is on these plans, each one of these boards there's like two different sizes, so we can go out and we can make those sizes and scale the boards exactly how we want them to be. Now, one thing that is going to limit you with the second option is the kind of saw that you have. I have access to a pretty good bandsaw that can cut decently straight now, and that is something not everybody has. I'm pretty grateful for that and lucky, but if you don't have that, it's going to be a little tricky. So you might just want to go out and buy this stuff, or maybe invest in a saw, but if you're not doing other woodworking and stuff, I would say just buying the wood is probably the cheaper way to go. So just to recap, two options: buy it, cut it easy, or make your own, cheap. You can make anything you want, but it's hard to cut. I want to give you just a little bit of background on my barn building experience. My first barn, I have this one. I started my farm display with Ertl Buildings. I have this guy. It was the scale house on the grain bin setup. I painted it red. It started out this color white, and the roof was that color red. I painted it red and silver. That's a pretty accurate color for the roof, but in my mind, every barn should be red. I don't know, I guess. It turned out okay. Not my favorite project, though. Another early barn was I wanted a pole barn, and I built this baby. Now, I thought this door would be good for big tractors, and this door would be better for little trucks. If you can see this, I have a truck right here, and this truck, so this barn here was the first one that I built. The doors are completely out of scale. This is a truck for the truck door, and really a whole big old tractor could fit in there. The barn is way off of scale, but I built it, and I liked it, and I enjoyed it. And I also didn't put like the side pieces. I wanted to go for the poles, but it was kind of, I was young. I don't know. I built two of these. There was actually a time where I wanted to build barns and sell them. This was going to be one of them. Never really happened. You can see here I did use balsa wood for this piece, but the rest I cut myself, and you can kind of tell that gave it a certain look on the siding and stuff, and it turned out pretty good. That shows a little bit more of my experience with the mortise and tenon and lap joints and different things. This last thing I built was a chicken coop, and this was in a video. I put siding on it, put windows in. Hopefully we can take advantage of that in this barn, and as well as an opening door. So that's basically what my experience is. Hopefully I'm going to test that and make something even better in this series here of building this bank barn. So that's enough rambling. What we're gonna do is go over to the shop, to the bandsaw. We're gonna cut some stuff out, make stuff happen. Let's get over there. So here it is. This is the bandsaw. It's an older Craftsman. And so just so you can see it here. What's the cool thing about this is it has the fence. We have a blade on it, tensioned pretty good. So we'll have to see how well that does. One bad thing here is that when we put this guard down, the fence is in the way. So we'll have to make some sort of a secondary fence there. So I'll go figure that out. So here's my setup. I just found two little pieces of wood here and put a C-clamp on them. This is not a professional setup by any means, but it's gonna work for what we want. I can't exactly measure, but I did take one test run. It seems to go straight and it cuts at about the width I want for the main floor beams at this point. So we're gonna roll with this. Out here in the shop, we have a couple scrap pieces of wood like this. So we're just gonna cut this down. I was looking at it and I was like, man, sideways, is that gonna be enough for the barn? But the measurements say so, so we're gonna roll with it. I haven't really used this saw much for stuff like this, and I'm really impressed. I got a bunch of these pieces out. I think we need 22 beams in total, so we'll mill some out of this. But it got a pretty even cut. I did have a little problem in the middle where I went crooked. I was able to fix it. I had to throw out a couple pieces. So that's pretty exciting that we can make this. So now what we're gonna do is rip these again. That vibration really messed with the camera. Anyways, here we have these pieces that we cut out. That one got a little crooked. For the most part, these turned out really good. I'm actually really happy with them. It'll take a little bit of cleaning up. I mean, 22. I think I'm about 15, so a little bit more to go. I ran through a couple boards. They kind of turned out pretty nice. It is hard to get them really thin though, so I'm actually considering maybe using balsa wood for that. Much thinner I don't think is possible, but that is pretty impressive. So there you have it. That's a process I use to mill out this lumber instead of going out and buying some balsa wood. So if you enjoyed this video, I encourage you to like it, maybe even think about subscribing if you're not already. Thank you for making it this far. If you haven't watched the first video where we measured stuff out, make sure to go check that out. It might be worth it. I'm trying to keep these videos entertaining, as we're not really even at the process of building the barn yet. So I tried to put a couple little funny things in there. Hopefully you liked them. I don't know. The next video, you can expect some gluing down and all of that to happen, so stay tuned for that. And I'll stop rambling on anymore. Thanks for stopping by.